There it is. Today we are at Heritage Park here in the state of Kansas. Oh, we like that. Get down. This is not the place you want to be after your first shot of the day. Not the best approach, but we can work with it. Ooh, that wind is... We got a noodle arm today, guys. Something better turn around quicker. We got a long day ahead of us, guys. Already got our first birdie look on the second hole, so that's a good sign. Not a good one. We've got a tree right directly in front of us. Straddle around it. Let's cash this putt. Oh, that was so deep. There it is. Oh, man. We got to pull it together. I'm sure putting with my backpack on is great for my form, but what are you going to do? All right, hole 3 is a 316-foot par 3, dead straight. We've not been feeling good with our backhand lately, so I'm really hoping we can get it together here soon. Otherwise, this is going to be a long day. Much better. Stay out of that tree. Stay out of that. Oh, hey, kick to the middle. Never belittle the middle, guys. All right, we got about 50 foot for our birdie here. See if we can't cash this thing. Get in. Oh, right over it. There it is. That feels good, even though it doesn't count. So since that birdie putt, that second one didn't count, we are even through the first 3 on this beautiful course. Hole 4 is 240 feet over to the left, back behind that clump of trees. I actually walked all the way up there just to go see it. I never do that, but I couldn't see the basket anywhere. Wanted to make sure there was actually one there. Let's see if we can't park this. Oh, that's gonna cut the corner too short. Oh man, not even close. I just feel like I'm falling apart, guys. My shoulder is killing me. My knee does not feel good. That's why I'm really trying to focus on my form. I noticed when I was just recording myself to check my form that I've been having a tendency to round and actually bring the disc up lately. So I'm trying to fix that, trying to just get cleaner form that's less stressful on my body. I don't know why, but that headwind made my disc seem like it was the slowest disc I've ever seen. It snapped out of my hand nice, but it just did not go and ended up way back in here. Back in this forest. We don't have much to go for here. We kind of just need to get out and give ourselves a putt. Look at that. Look at that. See, we've gotten really good at scrambling because we spent a lot of time in those trees. Aside from putting it in the basket, you really can't ask for anything better than that. Hole 5 is another relatively short par 3, 219 feet. Around to the left, there's kind of a nice tunnel of trees. Definitely a lot of things in the way. That tree's definitely seen its fair share of discs. Got no height on that. We need to get out of this funk and get something to start clicking soon. So we should not have to be scrambling so hard for these par 3s. Got another long obstructed birdie putt here. Really like to get the first one, get down on this card. Oh man, it's such a low ceiling. Not much you can do there. We just gotta sit here for a second. And remember, this is called disc golf. Golf is such a mental game. My body knows how to do this. I know how to throw a frisbee. I know how to make putts. My body's not the issue. Yes, my body's hurting, but it knows what to do. I've just gotta get out of my own head and play golf just like golf is supposed to be played. It's a mental game. I'm not actually sure which basket position it is in, but we've got a low ceiling tree out in the middle of the fairway. So for that reason, I'm gonna throw a forehand and we'll just scramble from there depending on where the basket's at. But my main focus on this hole is not what my score is. I really don't care. I just wanna make sure I get a good drive out underneath that tree because in the end, those are the shots that matter. My score doesn't matter today. Or we crash through the tree. If it ever becomes obvious to me during a round that the score is not going to turn out the way I'd like, that's the time that round is already trash anyway. Might as well turn it into a practice round. Throw some different shots, do some things you don't normally do. That's the ticket. Now if we could just drop this long putt, that'd be pretty nice. Get me feeling a little bit better. Oh, well, we're not shooting the course record today, but we are still even par. even par through 6. I don't know why it took me until the 7th hole to realize that every hole here has 2 baskets. We can just pick whichever one we want to play. That's dope. So this one, we're going to play the B position. It's 515 foot par 3, or excuse me, par 4, because we've played all par 3s so far. So let's play a par 4. That thing should glide for a long ways. A little nose up. Made it a good ways down here, but definitely not near as far as I'd like to. What the fuck is that? I guess this round is proving a point that you don't have to be hitting crazy lines and crazy shots to play even par golf. Oh, that thing is flipping like crazy. I think we're way deep. So I was wrong, we definitely aren't way deep, but we are way under this tree. The basket was a lot further than I thought. So our throw actually wasn't too bad. We just ended up in a pretty crappy spot. There we go. Tap in pars, that's all we can ask for. There it is. There's the effortless form we need to have. Of course, guys, the one time I get a good drive, there's no basket in this position. So we have to go back to that one, I guess. Today is just not our day, guys. Of course, we hit that one leaf on the way out. I've seen it in ball golf and disc golf. That little old man that doesn't throw very far, but he throws it right up the middle, right where he wants it every single time. You play the game an easier way. The fairway is fair. Stay in it. It's not too bad. This front 9 was going so poorly for me, and it took me forever to realize that I just needed to dissect the course better. Oh, that would have been so dirty, guys. That hit the top of the cage. Playing a good round of disc golf doesn't have to look like powerful, long drives and sinking all these long, crazy putts. Sometimes you just have to dissect the course, take the pars when they give them to you, and play smart, and the birdies will come. Typically, I would probably approach this hole with a backhand turnover, let it just glide down to the right, down to the basket. But today we're feeling a lot better with the forehand. Still not good, but I'm feeling more confident with it. You have to play to your strengths. When you have a tight window to hit, play the shot that you know you can hit that window with. Just because I know that my backhand perfect would probably be the better shot, the forehand is more high percentage. So let's throw them both, see what happens. And it's absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we want. See if we can do the same thing. High percentage. I made it through the gap. It didn't go as far, it wasn't as perfect, just like I thought would happen. But I made it through the gap, I made it up there, now I have a putt. So let's look at the difference of those two shots. Here we have the forehand that left us with probably about a 30-foot putt. And then you can see the backhand back behind the basket, maybe a 20-foot putt. So yes, it's 10 foot closer. Probably had a better chance at going in. But you've got to remember to play this game in a way of percentages. Use your high percentage shots where you need them. Use the low percentage shots when you have the flexibility to make up for those errors if it happens. It's a great putt. Golf is just a huge game of risk versus reward. It's important to play to your strengths when you need to and break out those other shots when you can afford to make those mistakes. Right now we've got a relatively open fairway that plays to a forehand regardless, so I'm confident in that shot, so I'm going to take it. Just because the guys you see on YouTube and on the MPO seem to never make mistakes doesn't mean that it's not normal. I show you guys a lot of my bad shots, and still, a lot of it never makes it onto YouTube. There it is. Try to focus on where you want your next shot to come from, not where this shot is going, but think about where that disc is landing and what that's going to leave you with on your next approach. You have to be realistic with yourself. You're not going to make every single shot. You're not going to hit every line you want to hit. You just need to be able to minimize the mistakes and keep yourself from getting in those bad positions more often than not. This shot here is not where you want to be after your tee shot. This is a par 3. All I need to do is pitch out and I can save my par. And don't be afraid to get a little creative. Let's try another one of those. Use the ground. Remember that you can. It's not against the rules to roll the disc. Be more open-minded about your shot selection, especially if it's a course that you play a lot. Just because you always throw a backhand on hole 9 to get around the corner doesn't mean that's necessarily the best way to play that hole. In a case like this where I can't see the basket, all I know is that there's OB to the right and that there's a wide open field over here straight ahead and to the left. So all I'm thinking to myself is get the disc out there a ways and stay out of the right stuff. I'm not going for a birdie here. I don't even know where the basket is, so I might as well just put myself in an easy position to make a par. We like that. Let your disc selection keep you out of trouble. If you know that you can't go a certain direction, use a disc that doesn't want to go that way. It's just like the old saying goes, play smarter, not harder. Think of ways that you can get the lowest score with the least amount of effort as possible. You don't necessarily have to be throwing 500-foot drives to score well. Oh, I thought we had that one. Some holes it may seem like you don't have any other option. Like this one. There's a tight window to get out. You have to hit the gap. There's no way around that. You have to hit the gap to be able to play this hole well. But there are options of getting out of this gap. You can throw a forehand out of here. You can backhand out of here. You can throw a nice smooth putter shot. You could throw a hyzer flip through here. What are you most confident in hitting that gap through? That's the disc that you should throw. That's the shot selection you should make. We know how much to say that, guys. A quick tip that applies to all things disc golf. Aim small, miss small. Putting, aim at one singular chain. When you're trying to hit that gap, aim for something small in that gap, in that distance. For example, I was using a tree right here. I was using the base, and there was a little white spot that I was just focusing on as hard as I could. Because if I miss that little spot by just a little bit, I'm still going to hit my mark. If I'm just going to say, oh, I'm going to hit this window, I'm going to throw it through this gap, that's a lot of room for error. If I say I'm going to hit that leaf 350 feet away, and I barely miss that leaf, I hit the gap. One thing that comes into play with course management is minimizing those mistakes on, for example, choosing a disc that doesn't allow you to make those big mistakes. Don't throw a 12-speed driver that can go 450 foot in the wrong direction if you can't control where it's going. A 9-speed driver will go plenty far for most golfers. Disc golf is hard, and continuing to just chuck frisbees as hard as you can isn't going to help your scores.